Your period isn't a curse. Reclaiming your womb with Sekhmet. Your period is not a punishment. It is not unclean. It is not a curse sent from God. That's a lie. Planted by patriarchy, fueled by religion, and passed down through generations. This is not just about blood. This is about power. For centuries, women were taught to shrink from their cycles. Menstrual blood was labeled unclean. Our wombs became battlegrounds of shame. The very thing that connects us to the rhythm of the moon, to creation itself, was turned against us. But Sekhmet, the ancient Kemetic, aka Egyptian lioness goddess of fire, healing, and blood, is here to burn those lies to the ground and reclaim the divine power of our menstrual cycles. She is not just the goddess of war, she is the destroyer of illusions, the purifier of truth, the protector of the sacred womb. She stands at the gates of our healing and roars, "You are not dirty, you are divine." Welcome, sacred soul. You have entered the Dark Mother Mystery School, a sanctuary where we unravel the deepest truths of the dark feminine. Who am I? I am Shadow Moon, priestess, oracle, and head mistress of the Sacred Mystery School, a space where we reclaim lost feminine wisdom. Excuse me, where we reclaim lost feminine wisdom, honor the divine dark mother, and restore balance to a world that has forgotten its roots. Here, we do not fear the darkness, we embrace it as the source of transformation. If you are ready to awaken, reclaim, and step fully into your power, then you are in the right place. Subscribe to the Dark Mother's Mysteries, like this video, and share this message with every woman ready to proclaim her womb, her rhythm, and her wild sacred fire. Lesson 1. Why are women taught to hate their menstrual cycles? Patriarchy needed to control women's power. The menstrual cycle is one of the most powerful, spiritual, and intuitive aspects of womanhood. In many indigenous and ancient cultures, bleeding was seen as sacred, a time for retreat, prophecy, healing, and rest. But under patriarchy, a woman who was connected to their cycle was a woman connected to her intuition, her rhythms, her inner authority. That made her harder to control. So, what did the system do? It taught us that our cycle was disgusting, that our womb was cursed, that silence and shame were more respectable than reverence and truth. By disconnecting us from our own body, it made us more vulnerable to external authority, religious, political, and social. Lesson 2. The lie of the curse. Religious doctrine labeled women unclean. For centuries, women have been taught that bleeding made us dirty, that our womb is cursed, that our body is unclean. Religious texts, particularly the Bible, call women impure for their cycle. This spiritualized shame. It embedded the idea that bleeding made you impure, a walking contamination. And generations of women internalized it. Even today, women in some communities are forbidden to enter temples, cook food, or sleep in the same room with others while menstruating. But why? Because a woman who is disconnected from her womb is easier to control. Because a woman who doesn't trust her body won't trust her power. And because menstrual blood is one of the most sacred forces of creation, and patriarchy fears it. Lesson 3. Why disconnecting women from their cycles disconnects them from their power. Menstrual shame was not always part of our story. In ancient cultures, menstrual blood was holy. Women were honored during their bleeding time. They gathered in red tents, moon lodges, and sacred spaces to rest, reflect, and renew. Across Africa, the Americas, and indigenous cultures globally, there were menstrual huts, moon lodges, and red tent traditions that honored women's cycles. Then colonialism, religious doctrine, and patriarchal rule crept in. They told us our blood was dirty. They erased the rituals of our foremothers. They disconnected us from our cycles and therefore from our wisdom. They taught us to hide pads, dismiss pain, and stay silent about the most sacred rhythm we carry. Lesson 4: why disconnecting women from their cycles disconnects them from their power. I'll give you 3 reasons. 1, energetic disconnection. When you disconnect a woman from her menstrual cycle, you disconnect her from her intuition. Feminine intuition, also known as women's intuition, gut feeling, or sixth sense, refers to the ability of women to have a sense of knowing or feeling that something isn't right or that something is trying to tell them something. Menstruation is a time of heightened intuition, release, and renewal. So, disconnecting women from their menstrual cycle cuts women off from their spiritual and energetic flow. Number 2, loss of autonomy. Shame around menstruation leads to silence, which leads to ignorance, which leads to control. When women don't understand their menstrual cycles, they lose autonomy over their reproductive health. And y'all already see how the government in 2024 and 2025 is trying to strip away our reproductive rights, all in the name of patriarchy. Number 3, cultural consequences. The stigma around menstruation perpetuates gender inequality, keeping women from fully embracing their strength and vitality. Y'all, women can have strength. Men are not the only ones who can be strong. And you can still be feminine, soft, and strong at the same time. Don't let don't be fooled. So when a woman is disconnected from her boundaries, feminine energy and truth, she cannot be controlled. However, Sekhmet burns through this deception with one truth: your womb is not a curse, it is a temple. Lesson 5: capitalism doesn't respect menstrual cycles, only productivity. A menstruating woman's energy naturally ebbs and flows. Y'all, we are not like men. We are not on a 24-hour cycle. Our cycle ebbs and flows, and we need rest, softness, and slowness. But capitalism is built on constant productivity, i.e., hustle culture. So a woman who bleeds, who slows down, who turns inward becomes inconvenient. She's told to pop pain pills, slap on a pad, and keep it moving. She's taught to override her body and not listen to it. She's taught to push through her pain instead of honoring her rest phase, because this system wants workers, not well rested, intelligent, and sovereign feminine women. Lesson 6: Sekhmet as the destroyer of shame and restorer of sacred blood wisdom. Sekhmet is not just a goddess of war, she is a goddess of healing, vitality, and fierce protection. She burns away what no longer serves us, making space for renewal and transformation. Sekhmet is the fire that heals. Sekhmet governs blood, not just the blood of war, but the blood of birth, of release, of sacred transformation. She is the goddess who restores menstrual power through fire. She is the guardian of sacred rage, of womb protection, and of healing cycles. With Sekhmet energy, you can burn away menstrual shame. Sekhmet's fire consumes the lies and stigmas surrounding menstruation, leaving only truth and empowerment. She helps you to speak proudly about your cycle. You can and you should educate your daughters and your young sisters and family members and help them to embrace this time as well. Talk to the next generation, y'all. Tell young girls you are powerful, not cursed. Normalize period talk in your home and communities. Teach your sons that a young lady that's in class with him should not be ashamed for messing up her clothes. Teach him about women and their cycles so he can understand when he gets older. And also, let's celebrate our young girls' first bleed with sacred ceremony. Make it special. Throw a period party. To sum everything up, here's the truth, and Sekhmet knows this well. Your cycle is not dirty, never was dirty, and never will be dirty. Your blood is not shameful or unclean. Your womb is not a curse. Your body is not broken. Thank you all for taking this journey with me. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. Until next time, this is Shadow Moon, head mistress of the Dark Mother Mystery School, signing off. Class is dismissed.